Take a look at the Big Ten standings. As you see, Indiana and Ohio State up top, as they've always been. Oregon, Michigan with the big game, of course, against Ohio State, USC, and Washington. And there's Iowa sitting at 5-3, the battle for 8-4 this weekend. Minnesota, Northwestern, UCLA, obviously not going to make a bowl. Rutgers still has a chance to make a bowl. Penn State has a chance to make a bowl as well, and then the bottom of the standings. Let's take a look around the Big Ten this week. The game in Ann Arbor, big noon. Michigan needs its 5th straight win over the Buckeyes to have a chance to make the college football playoff. Oregon would have to lose to Washington. By the way, the last time Michigan beat Ohio State in 5 in a row, it ended in 1927. It's the last time they beat Ohio State 5 in a row. Indiana heads west to Lafayette. Of course, that is the big game, Oak and Bucket game there Friday for her chance, their first 12-0 season ever. Here are your rankings and brackets. Take a look at the Big Ten in the college football playoff. Ohio State and Indiana at 1 and 2. Oregon there at 3. And then you got Michigan with still a shot and USC at number 17. They are now out of it after the loss last week. Let's take a look at here's the bracket. You see Ohio State, Georgia, Indiana, and A&M as your top 4 seeds. The big question is what happens with Miami. Right there, they're in at number 12. We asked in this week's Sideline Survey, what is your mood heading into the Iowa game? 45% still unhappy, leading the number. Angry and don't care. If you look at just the bottom part of that, people are not happy at all.
Oh,
they're not happy at all.
Larry and I discussed this last night, and I said, well, I'm not okay with it. Yeah. I'm not angry, and I do care, so I guess I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy.
That's the only spot.
I like the word frustrated.
Yeah, I'm frustrated.
I think frustrated should be like the next option.
Because Nebraska's had, and they have another one this week, they had the chance against Michigan, USC, and Penn State. Those were your 3 chances to really say this was a very successful season. And they lost all 3 of those games. And you throw on top of that the worst performance against Minnesota, in my opinion. That's what makes the frustration.
I agree 100%. It's just getting yourself back into the upper echelon in the Big Ten. You have your opportunities to win those games. They just haven't done it. And they've looked like they don't belong in the same field at those times. USC was the closest. I will say that was the closest one that they had. But that Minnesota game, I'm still puzzled by that.
They probably don't lose the game if Dylan doesn't get hurt against USC.
I would agree.
I mentioned this, first time an opponent, and this is Iowa, better net field position than Nebraska, and a higher ranked special teams. It doesn't happen a lot this year. And then I mentioned earlier, Michigan, Minnesota, USC, Northwestern, and Penn State averaged 211 yards rushing. Sean, can Nebraska limit them to a number that allows them to win this game?
It's early down success. Last week Penn State had an average of 6.4 yards on first down runs.
Yeah.
So their average second down play was 2nd and 3.5. And if Iowa does that, they're going to win the game.
Yeah.
And I think what worries me more, honestly, is Gronowski, especially in the red zone. He has 13 rushing touchdowns, and his ability to scramble and move around has become their biggest offensive weapon. The running game with Moulton is solid, but he only has 2 touchdowns. He's kind of the guy that gets the driveway right to the garage, and then it's Gronowski that pulls the cart.
Yeah, he's got 11 rushing touchdowns in the Big Ten.
11 in the Big Ten, 13 on the year, where Moulton only has 2 on the year. But he's a very good kind of get them in the red zone, and then Gronowski does what he does once they get to the red zone.
And Moulton wasn't even the starter to start the season off.
That's Iowa in a nutshell, though.
That's who they are. Andy in email says, it seems like Holgorsen is being overly cautious with Latif. You feel that?
Yeah, at times. I mean, brought up a great point. Move the ball downfield. I mean, I will say, though, with Dylan, though, you have not seen a ton of deep over routes.
He wasn't very accurate on those.
So Nebraska, I mean, just with Holgorsen, just kind of his play calling and that offense, it is a lot of intermediate. I will say they got to get the ball down the field, but I want to see more mesh routes with this. The offense has been rather simple. I get the freshmen. Yeah, they need to start taking some shots and really loosening up that secondary of Iowa.
One of the things I thought was really interesting when I started breaking down Iowa was the way their sacks are distributed. So they have 3 different guys who have 6 or more sacks. You just don't see that a lot. Usually it's one dominant guy, maybe a second, but across the board, it's an experienced, tough, and defensive line that gets after you.
And it's a belief in the system and knowing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you heard the Husker coaches talk about that on Tuesday, that you can watch Iowa film from 2010. It's the exact same plays and schemes. And so I just think that their culture or their program, all the players are so familiar with the scheme and they execute it.
and efficiency. They're so incredibly efficient. And a big reason is because you got a guy who's been there for 27 years.
Their defense, their defensive line, they're not twitchy. This is vastly different than what we saw from Michigan. Those guys have those
Right.
freaks of nature coming off of the edge and with speed and power. They're not going to blow you off the line of scrimmage. What they're going to do is they're going to play solid, heavy hands, technique. They're going to probably bull rush, and they're going to convert. They're going to get you off your heels, and they're going to work aside. Trust that their back end's going to cover. Trust that the QB is going to hold on for more than 3 seconds, and they're going to get off a block and go make a tackle. It's nothing. There's not a lot of speed, not a ton of athleticism. It's just tough, solid Iowa football. That's what they hang their hat on, and that's what we've seen for 20 plus years now.
Kirk Ferentz went through those seniors that are on that defensive line and talked about how, some of those guys came in, they weighed 240 pounds, 250 pounds, and they built them up in there, fifth-year senior guys. Can we talk a little bit about what Nebraska's guys might be when they get to that point too?
Yeah, you like what they've done in the younger classes. I mean, I look at Tyson Terry, Malcolm Simpson, Cade Pedshock. On the other end, I think Preston Talmua and maybe Grant Bricks. I mean, some of these younger linemen, Gibson Pyle, who's hurt. The key is you've got to stick with the plan. And unfortunately for Nebraska football, whatever their plan is, very few coaches have had much of a chance to finish the plan.
Yeah.
And Iowa's had the 27-year window to kind of, they take a Cade Pieper from Norfolk Catholic. Nobody from the Power Four offered him other than Iowa. Well, he's a starter now, and he's doing really well in the Big Ten.
It's having patience in today's day and age is so hard. Kids think they need to produce earlier. Coaches, fan bases think they need to produce earlier. Iowa's just they stick with their system, right? And they just know, hey, if the guys they're not producing 2 years, okay, we know he'll be there in year 3, year 4, maybe year 5.
They're the tortoise. They're the tortoise.
They are,
right? Slow and steady.
Yes, patience is key sometimes, and you can being impatient is not necessarily a good thing. So I think Nebraska needs to stress a little more patience sometimes.
Real quick from Fred, Dayton decommitting, how much does that affect the future of Dylan Raiola?
I guess we'll have to see. I mean, it's really hard today, the eve of this game, to really know what direction that goes. But you have to think there is some thoughts and decisions going on behind the scenes of where this is all going to go. It's hard to imagine a world where they're both here because TJ Lateef is going to command a market, and Dylan Raiola is one of the highest paid already in the game. So how do you manage that with both, and what do you do at that point? So this is going to be a very fluid discussion, and the portal doesn't open until January 2nd.
Right, but they can.
But guys could declare and make decisions, but you just don't have a very good feel right now about it as far as Dylan and kind of the, depending on how Lateef does here down the stretch.
So that's, I think, the PR part of it. If Lateef doesn't play well, the PR part of if Dylan left would be really bad. Lateef has to play really well over these next 2 games for it not to be bad PR. I know PR doesn't mean everything, but nationally, I know something that Coach Rule talks about a lot.
Yeah, it does. It's a tough decision. Pat Stewart, the general manager, is going to be fully involved in this and trying to figure out the dollars and try to make sense of this all. But you can't. I mean, you got to figure out what's best for this team.
Yeah.
I think
and those are good numbers.
Those are great numbers, and he's going to get. There's going to be a lot of Power 4 teams that are going to call that they'll take his services, and he's going to demand. I mean, Sean's right, but just trying to figure out what's best for this team. Can you reallocate some dollars? But again, it's a tricky situation with the family history with Dylan, what he's done already. Some tough discussions and some tough decisions are going to have to be made.
This is what I know. Last time at the state championship games, Emmett Johnson was right with TJ Lateef and all the key guys on the team.
Right.
So there's no question he's gained some respect of this locker room.
Sure.
Because here's the front line dudes, and you have TJ Lateef right with those guys. And that got my attention just being around the stadium the last couple of days.
Everybody says that he's really likable and he works really hard, and there's nothing like a teammate that works really hard. You're going to like that guy.
Yeah, the guy that goes to battle. He took some shots in that Penn State game, got up, I thought, a couple times, like, woo. And he got up and fought, and he showed the ability to use his legs. And you always love a guy that's going to work hard and is going to battle. You can deal with mistakes if he owns it, and he's going to battle with you. You can go to war with a guy like that. So it's this dynamic of this whole situation. Year in and year out in college football, no matter team it's going to be interesting to see how it comes down the stretch.
Yeah, and David on Facebook asked about the run defense earlier in the show. If you want to go back and look, you did a good job of breaking down exactly what the issues are. All right, let's go to the burning questions.
My burning question is, can Nebraska's run defense make the adjustments this week needed to win this game?
Yeah, TJ Lateef, I'm looking offense. is Nebraska going to take some shots? Utilize his legs too, but are they going to open it up and take some shots on the field to attack that Iowa secondary?
Can Nebraska make one or two plays on special teams, the plays that Iowa's made in previous years to help them win the game? That's a big part of the game, who wins special teams. Two great special teams.